Hello, and thank you for taking part in this digital drop in with Google and Parent Zone. My name's Chelsea, and we've got our online expert Tim in the chat box too. Now, we'd love to know where you're watching from today and who you are. So, if you'd like to introduce yourself in the chat box, please feel free and don't be shy. Now, Tim and I are part of a team in charge of Be Internet Legends. Now, this is a program designed by Google and Parent Zone to help 7 to 11-year-olds become savvier, safer, and more confident online. Now, over the last few weeks, we've been asking parents what topics they'd like to cover in these sessions, and cyberbullying was one of the top answers. So, that is what we're going to focus on today. Now, this chat is designed for all families. So perhaps you're just finding out a little bit more about bullying and the approaches that there are to prevent it. But you might be here because you also want some practical advice if you're worried about something. Now, we're going to take a 360-degree look at bullying and the way Be Internet Legends can support you and your child and what we're teaching children about it. Now, if you do have an immediate problem with bullying and you do need some if you do need some specific, I don't know why I couldn't say that then, let me start again. If you have some immediate problems with bullying and you'd like some specific help or support, then do send us an email. Now, our email address is legends@parentzone.org.uk. That's legends@parentzone.org.uk, and we will get back to you. Now, we want to make the next 20 minutes as useful and as practical as they can possibly make them. And we know that some of the best tips are going to come from you sharing things to each other, parent to parent. So if you do have any tips or techniques, pop them in that chat box. I'll keep looking and I'll share them as we go along. And also, if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat box too. Now, we really want to make sure that everybody leaves this session with one or two things that can help them with this really difficult subject. Now, before we go any further, I just want to check that you can all see me okay. Now, if I look a little bit blurry, I recommend pressing refresh in your chat box, in your browser. And if you're working on a phone or a tablet or a computer, you'll notice a little cog in the bottom right. So click on that and select quality, and that'll help you there. And don't worry if you miss any of the information I'm giving you today, because you can always watch this video back later. So, like I said, Tim and I are part of a team that's been teaching an internet safety program called Be Internet Legends for almost 4 years now. And some of you might have heard about it from your children. Now, we deliver really fun interactive assemblies like these pictures on my screen, and then teachers follow it up in the classroom with a full curriculum. Now, throughout the pandemic, we've been supporting teachers and families and children from afar using the power of tech. Now, Be Internet Legend teaches children 5 really important safety pillars. Now, these are a mixture of skills and behaviours that children need to remember when they go online. Now, this is being sharp, being alert, being secure, being kind, and being brave. Now, if you want to find out more information about all those pillars, do check out Google's Parents page. Now, Tim's going to pop a link for that in the chat box. And we also run sessions that explore all elements of the Be Internet Legends programme. So we'd love you to join one of those too. Now, you can find out when they're happening on the Parent Zone website. And Tim's going to pop a link for that as well in the chat box so you can have a look at those dates. Be Internet Legends covers much, much more than cyberbullying, but that is what we're going to concentrate on today. I'm going to explain what we teach children about bullying so you can apply the same approaches at home with your children if that would be useful. And this approach isn't just useful for children who are experiencing bullying, although we do have some tips if that is the case. It's really about making sure children don't experience it. Now, there are three pillars in the Be Internet Legends Code that are particularly important when thinking about cyberbullying, and these are secure, kind, and brave. So, they're the three that I'm going to focus on today. So, what is cyberbullying and how might it happen? Now, first off, it's really easy to worry that your child might be being picked on without you knowing. But chances are you're really used to looking out for the signs that something's troubling your child. So you'll probably pick on it pretty quickly. Now, what's important to remember is that you consider that bullying might be the problem. Now, there's no legal definition of what bullying is, but when we talk about bullying, we're generally talking about behaviour that's sustained and intended to hurt either physically or emotionally or both. And of course, it's a really, really serious concern for parents. Now, data from a bullying charity called Ditch the Label in the UK suggests that up to a fifth of children experience it. Now, what's really important to know is that those figures reporting bullying are from children in secondary schools, and that's where problems often start. And that's why we're delivering Be Internet Legends in primary schools to try and prevent any bullying from happening in the first place. Now, when we think about cyberbullying, it's important to remember that the internet can amplify things. Now, that could be good or bad. So, if a child is experiencing bullying, it's likely to include both online and offline elements. But it's equally important to remember as well that it's possible that the internet's helping them to cope with bullying. So maybe they use it to switch off, or they might have friends online who they game with or chat to. Now, for some children, online friendships are a lot easier to manage than offline friendships. The most important thing is that you approach this topic with a really open mind and an understanding of how complex it can be. So, what can you do if you're worried, and what can we do to prevent it? Now, the first and most important thing, and we talk about this a lot in Be Internet Legends, is to be brave, and that's to ask for help. And this can often be the most difficult or challenging part for a child. Now, I'm sure as parents or carers, you've already got some tips and tricks up your sleeve on how you encourage your children to open up to you. So if you have, please pop them in the chat box and I'll share them with everybody a little bit later on. But now I've got a few tips of our own, so I'm going to go through each of our tips. Now, the first one is to tell your children what you're seeing. So you might say, "You look really sad. Is there anything that I can do to help?" Now, another technique is to try and distance the problem so you don't just focus on them and you're talking about it in more general terms. So you might say something like, "I'm a bit worried that there might be some bullying happening. Is this something you've talked about in school?" Now, perhaps they're not being bullied, but they might have some questions about it, or they might be worried for a friend. Now, another approach is to tackle the conversation when they don't feel under pressure. So, this might be on your drive to school, or maybe when you're cooking together, or maybe when you're playing games together. Now, giving them something else to focus on so the conversation isn't too intense. Now, helping a child to be brave enough to ask for help can be really hard. So, the final tip I have for you is you could try to use Be Internet Legends itself. Now, you could say something like, "I've been reading all about Be Internet Legends and all the different pillars and parts of it, and my favourite is being internet brave. I do hope you'd come to me if you had any problems." Now, do keep adding your thoughts and ideas in the chat box, and I'll have a look in there in a few moments. Now, once your child's opened up to a conversation about bullying, now this could be whether they're in trouble for being the bully, or maybe they're on the receiving end, or perhaps they do just have some questions about it. What can you do? Now, the Legends Code gives children lots of things that they can do. Now, children often feel powerless when they experience bullying or when they see it in their friendship group. So it can be really powerful for you to work together to come up with a plan so they know there are steps they can take. So, what are these steps? Now, we're going to start with some things that your children will have learned in the secure pillar of Be Internet Legends. We teach children about blocking and reporting. So, using the block and report tools in apps or on websites, and this can stop bullies contacting their victims. And it's really worth reminding your children that people don't know if they've been blocked and they won't know who's reported them. So they can use these tools with confidence and they can share them with their friends if they're worried about somebody. And they can also report the issue to other people too. Now, your child's school will have an anti bullying policy, so if something really troubling is happening, it's always worth involving the school. Of course, practical steps are only part of the process when it comes to dealing with bullying. Now, the final part of the Legends Code that's useful here is Be Internet Kind. Now, this is where we talk to children about using the internet to spread positive, kind messages and information. It's all about making your online world a place you really want to be a part of. And this is a really important way that we can help prevent bullying from happening. Now, for a child who's experiencing bullying, it can be really hard for them to find spaces where they feel happy or where they can connect with other people safely. But that's something that you can help with. Now, this can be something as simple as spending time with them, finding things they enjoy doing online. Now, this might be listening to music together or watching funny, silly cat videos online. It's all about helping them to find their tribe and to move away from people who are being unkind. Now, it can be really tempting to tell your children to stop using their favourite apps or going on their favourite websites or platforms if they are experiencing bullying. But that can sometimes feel as though they're being punished. Now, finding things that make them happy can be a much more effective way to go. And there are other ways to help your child have a positive experience online. Now, you probably already encourage your children not to give bullies an audience already. And it's worth explaining to your children that people can sometimes act badly online just to get attention, just like they do in the real world. And whether they're offline or online, it's more likely to stop if you just ignore them. And reminding children of really simple rules like not liking posts that are unkind, even if the intention of that post was to be funny, will help them to really develop kinder online friendship groups. Now, it can be really tricky for children to manage their friendships online and offline. Now, online, without facial expressions and changes in someone's voice or somebody's tone, a message can be read in so many different ways and it might even be misunderstood. Now, sometimes even the really good, strong friendship groups can have some bumpy moments. That's why we teach children how important it is to always be kind online. We teach them things like say it out loud before you post it and add some emojis to make sure that the tone of your message is extra clear. Now, these are just a few simple tips and techniques that can make your child's online life a bit more fun. Now, if you do have some others, please pop them in the chat box because I'm going to have a look in there soon. Now, we know that the internet is a really complicated place for a child to navigate, and bullying is just one of the tricky things that they might have to deal with. Now, maybe your child's experiencing it for themselves, or maybe they want to support a friend, or perhaps they do just have questions about it, or they want to know how it can be avoided. Now, whatever your concern is about cyberbullying, I hope this session's given you one or two things that'll help with that. And remember, if you do have a problem and you want to get in touch with us, please do pop us an email. Now, Tim's going to pop that in the chat box for you. Do get in touch if you need to. Be Internet Legends is all about giving children the skills and the behaviours they need so that problems can be avoided, but if they do happen, they know how to get help. And talking about Be Internet Legends, there is so much more of it out there. If you found this useful or interesting, why not come to one of our other digital drop-ins? Now, we're doing them throughout the term. We're doing more sessions on cyberbullying, and we're doing other topics as well, including sharing things carefully. Now, Tim's going to pop a link in the chat box, which is the timetable for our different sessions, and please do share that information with your friends and family members as well. We've also got a really exciting resource for you. Google, Parent Zone and Aardman are inviting you to embark on the Legends Family Adventure. Now, it's a 3-part animated series which follows a family of internauts going on an adventure through Interland. Now, you can take part in the Legends Family Challenge, and this is an opportunity for your family to test their online skills and win some super prizes for your child's school. Now, this is launching in the next few weeks, so do keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm really excited to watch the animation. Now, Parent Zone's Parent Hub has loads of free fun activities that families can do together. Now, there's something for every pillar of the Be Internet Legends code, from kindometers to password poetry. Now, if you sign up for our newsletter, we'll make sure you're the first to hear more information about the Legends Family Adventure and any other activities we have too. And Tim's popping a link in the chat box for that now. And finally, have any of you played Interland? It's a fab online game filled with challenges based on the Legends code. Now, children absolutely love it and they're really good at it too. Now, why not have a bit of a competition in your household, see who can get the highest score? Good luck, especially if you're playing Mindful Mountain, because I really struggle with that one. So I'd definitely be at the bottom of the leaderboard in my house if that was the challenge. And Tim's popping the link for Interland in the chat box now. Okay, I'm going to have a little look in the chat box. I think I just actually need to refresh my page to get it back up. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, fab. Lovely. Okay. Jeannie Marie has said, oh, hello. Oh, it's just a big hello. Sorry I missed that at the beginning. I needed to press refresh. So hi, Jeannie. Glad that you're watching today. I hope this session's been useful, and I'm glad you could hear me loud and clear. Oh, yeah, so Jeannie said that was a bit worried that they thought they'd missed the session, but don't worry, we've got more sessions coming up on this topic and other topics. And don't worry if you have missed anything, because you can always watch the session back. Fab, Tim has also popped all the links I was talking about in that chat box, which is great. Now, Tim's also going to share a link for a really short survey. Now, it'll take you 30 seconds for you to fill in, and we'd really appreciate if you could do this for us. It just helps us know that the information we're talking about in the digital drop-ins are useful for you and your family, and you can suggest any other topics you'd like us to cover in the future. Now, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You could do that via email or via Instagram. We'd love to hear how you're getting on with Interland. Maybe you could give me some tips on how to complete Mindful Mountain, or perhaps you want to share some password poetry, what you and your children create together. We're always really happy to hear of parents and of families, so do get in touch. And if you have any questions, send us an email. There is no such thing as a bad question, so do get in touch. I think that's everything from me. Last look in that chat box. Nope, that's everything from me. So thank you so much for joining me this afternoon or evening, not sure what you'd call this time. And hopefully, I'll see you all soon for another one of our digital drop ins. Bye!